In Lesson 4, you'll learn many skills for all kinds of advanced musical layout, not just worksheets. There are 2 worksheets to copy into Sibelius in this lesson, and you'll find copies of them in Appendix B in your book, as well as in PDF and Sibelius format in your Core Resources folder. You'll need copies easily to hand to work from. Before you learn to make your own worksheet from scratch in Sibelius, it's possible that the worksheet creator will save you some time. Inside it are some 1,700 worksheets, flashcards, pieces of music, fact sheets, templates, and much more. Even if the exact sheet you need isn't there, you can modify the existing ones. The worksheet creator is one of the few things that you can't get to directly from the Quick Start dialog box. If you don't have a file open one you've been working on. Alternatively, start a new blank score with no instruments on it, and then in the File tab go to the Backstage and click on Teaching, then Worksheet Creator. If you're an educator, you'll want to spend some time exploring the Worksheet Creator, but first I'll step you through the process once. You can leave the first screen of the wizard with the default set, but you may like to change the page size if it doesn't suit the default for your country. Then click Next. Again, you can leave the options in this second screen as default, and click Next. The remaining screens of the Worksheet Creator wizard serve as a folder structure for an awful lot of content. You can navigate back and forth through the different sections by clicking the Next and Previous buttons, choosing selections from the list on the left. Each section is numbered to make it easier to find, and breadcrumbs at the top remind you how you navigated to the list you're looking at. The many resources inside the Worksheet Creator are in 6 main groups: Elements of music, writing and creating music, selected repertoire, reference, posters, flashcards and games, and UK, KS3 and GCSE projects. While there is a separate section for UK materials in the Worksheet Creator, it is worth pointing out that the materials were prepared to cover the knowledge required in all syllabuses of America, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, in addition to the UK. Let's open a worksheet which tests students' knowledge of intervals. Go to 01 Elements of Music, then 07 Intervals, Chords, Progressions and Cadences, then 01 Intervals, then 02 Right Intervals, and last but not least 03 Complete, given tonic, number and quality. You can see that as you choose each worksheet or folder containing worksheets, that information about its content is given on the right. You can change the number of questions in the worksheet by clicking on this drop-down menu, and you can also choose whether you'd like Sibelius to create an answer sheet, very useful if you'd like the students to mark their own work. Click Next to preview the 2 scores that you're going to make, and then click Finish. The worksheet you're viewing now is the answer sheet. We could print it or save it, but since we don't actually need it, let's just close this window to review the question sheet behind it. The intervals sheet has the number of questions you set and is beautifully set out. It's incredibly simple. You may now like to take a break from this video to look at the many other resources in the Worksheet Creator. Remember, to run it again, just go to the File tab in the ribbon, and you'll find it under Teaching. One other option is available in the first screen of the Worksheet Creator, and that is the ability to work with templates. These templates are a great starting point for making your own customized worksheets. To try this out, click on the Templates radio button and then click Next. Choose Worksheet, Numbered, and click Finish. To start personalizing this score, add a title. You already know where to get text from in Sibelius, and you'll find there's a text style ready to go. We'll call this worksheet Compose Answering Phrases, and it's the first worksheet in the appendix, or called Worksheet 1 in the Core Resources folder if you've printed it out. You also know how to edit text for the questions. Just double-click it. Write Compose the answering phrase, and then press Escape to leave editing mode. You can repeat this manually for each question, or you can copy and paste the text once you're editing it. Each question requires a time signature and a key signature. However, if created as is default, you'll have a cautionary time and key signatures at the end of the previous question, like this. Therefore, after pressing T, the shortcut for time signature, make sure you click More Options and then uncheck the Allow Cautionary checkbox, as well as choosing the time signature that you need. Once you click it in, there's no cautionary. Similarly, after pressing K for key signature, click More Options and this time check the Hide checkbox, as well as choosing the key signature that you need. After creating them, you'll notice to grayed out key signatures so that you know that they're hidden. You'll need to repeat this process for each time and key signature, although it is also possible to copy them where they have already been created in your score. Now you can copy music into each question. The second bar is always empty, and if you want students to handwrite their answers onto printed sheets, you'll need to hide the bar rests. To do this, select the bars in question, right-click on them, and choose Hide or Show, and then Hide or Show. Once you've finished inputting the music, you can delete the empty bars at the bottom of the page simply by selecting them and pressing Ctrl and Delete or Backspace, which of course is Command and Delete or Backspace on a Mac. You can also contract the spacing in some of the questions where there isn't enough room for the written answer. As a general rule, it's best not to muck around with Sibelius's spacing too much because you can end up with a very odd-looking score. But when you have to, do it right at the end of your project so there can't be any knock-on effects later. Select a bar that needs the space contracting and press Alt and Shift and left arrow, or Option and Shift and left arrow if you're on a Mac. Naturally, you can use that shortcut with the right arrow to expand the spacing. Last but not least, if your text has moved a little out of position, you will want to realign it. If you're doing this by eye, you may like to use Sibelius's graph paper texture for the manuscript paper by going to Preferences in the Backstage, clicking Textures in the list, and then changing the paper drop-down to Graph. The lines in the manuscript paper make it very easy to align by eye, especially if you zoom in a little.